created programs like we have here at SDSU for people to get their master's degree, online, and pretty much the entire program would be paid. So that program has actually ended from RSA. Now, we had a lot of discussions as a program. Do we want to continue to have a distance program? We determined that we do want to continue the distance program. So the students coming in are quite a bit different than the people from past cohorts. There are people that are working in state VR. We have around 25 new students coming into that program. Around 10 are working for DOR. We've got one who works for the State Vocational Rehab Agency in American Samoa. We have one coming in from Saipan, and that's part of the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Islands, which is a U.S. territory, so they have a state VR agency. So we have some really interesting, state VR people. But we also have people that are, like a lot of you guys who are maybe new to the field, who are not part of state VR, and they want to get a master's degree in rehab counseling. And the thing with the RCSA, and I've talked to Serena a number of times about this, they have never been part of RCSA, the distance program. And they have really been totally separate from the on-campus program. So all the emails I send out in past semesters, past years, they've never gotten all those kinds of emails. They've kind of been their own thing. But they really are being much more integrated into what we do in the on-campus program. So with the RCSA, the thought was let's integrate them somehow in terms of what we do. So now, when you see one of my emails, you'll see Cedar 15 as one of the emails that are part of those listserv messages. That's going to the distance students. So I think with RCSA, the question is, do you want them part of what you guys are doing, and how can we do it? So that's kind of what I think is basically the context here. And again, they're in many ways like you guys as students in terms of your backgrounds.
Right. So we get involved in local competitions or votes on things.
Is it possible, do we have the technology to do a webinar?
With them?
Where they would, a real time,
That's what we kind of talked about that with Chuck last time, but I think sometimes the time zone issue we discussed might be problematic. So we were thinking about potentially getting seeing if we can look into recording possibly the meetings and then just having an online presence where they can go on and kind of click whenever it's convenient for them. But as far as a webinar goes, we kind of talked about with Chuck and the time zone issue.
But it might work. I mean, I would say the majority of the students are in the Pacific time zone.
Okay.
But I mean, the Saipan one, they're 15 hours ahead. Samoa is 4 hours behind, I think. So.
I suppose we could try to do that with this next event, see if that would work. But regardless of whether that works or not, I would definitely like to record whatever events so that we can upload them online and people can view them.
Podcasting would be cool.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
So
There's
any,
that's in multimedia.
anyone that
I'm recording today right now.
So,
So.
Would you do that?
I can be part of it.
Could we do your brown bag series type of setup for the ISP
I think so,
speaker,
yeah.
or is that only for certain types?
The tech guy in the building, he's gone by that point, but I can talk to him to see if he can teach me how to use all the camera and the recording.
Oh yeah, that's
so
a lot
on.
of setup.
But no, but I actually for the talk we have coming up with Chris Langoria on migrant and seasonal farm workers, that's the plan where I'm going to come in the day before and he's going to show me how to set everything up. So I think we probably could use that technology. That's part of InterWork.
And then load it up to the brown bag website?
Yeah. There's part of the InterWork website has a section on rehab counseling trainings. So probably we'd go to that one. We have things like international internship presentations, a variety of things like that. Yeah, so I think as a group, Kumar, you said maybe the Facebook page, but you may want to consider having it on the InterWork website.
How about having it on both sides?
Because one thing RCSA can be a tool for creating programming for those venues. Because the commercial that was done recently, that's on the InterWork YouTube account, I guess, right?
The video?
Yeah.
Most of it? Yeah.
So we put things on there.
That's not possible. There is this thing called the flip cam, which you can use to videotape and upload directly onto YouTube, whatever, we'll figure it out, but what do you think, like, do we want to have like some of the RCSA, like say the RCSA put this on kind of things to give us a little bit more visibility as an organization?
Sure. Why not? That helps get the name out.
Right,
And
right,
kind of
that's-
promote awareness and if it doesn't get people attracted right away, it will eventually.
Eventually,
I think
right.
like your ideas behind these workshops and what was the other thing? Those workshops and something else that you guys were proposing to.
Business learning program?
Maybe that, yeah. I just think those are good ideas to get people engaged. That's like what keeps me
Right,
wanting
people
to
coming,
come back. I
yeah.
didn't even know you guys were having this event on Friday the 25th, and it was like, oh, okay.
The other thing that I'm trying to get off the ground too is Chuck gave me a list of the people that are in charge of RCP, well, the rehab counseling programs across the state. And I would like to, the idea is I would like to contact them and basically network with them so we have everyone as accessible to everyone else. So that would be another resource.
Especially for those graduating.
Yeah.
Can we
So
invite
I'm
alumni
hoping
too?
What?
Can we invite alumni too?
Yeah.
Maybe have alumni speak?
That, yeah,
Yeah.
that was the idea, we just, I think the only alumni we have access to right now are the people we knew from last year, so.
Yeah.
I have-
Does the
I have, like,
listserv have
5 or
alumni
6.
on it?
There's a separate listserv for alumni, it says RC alumni. So look for any of the messages I send out on job notices.
Okay.
And you guys can just, I think you can, I don't think you would be blocked from sending out an alumni message. If that's the case, just send it to me and I can send it out to the alumni.
Then there comes the question about whether or not we want alumni to, I guess, to be members of the RCSA as well.
They can't be members, but you
Because
can
they're
have them at
not
events if
graduates.
you
Okay.
wanted to.
Okay. So that could be a good networking tool as well. One other thing that I wanted to mention, that I forgot to mention earlier, is we're working with the GSA, which is Kamar, the organization at Kamar is
The Graduate Student Association.
yeah, affiliated with, to have a couple of different spaces for quiet study. Kamar is going to get in touch with the president of the GSA to see if we could use that space for quiet study, like when we had our little study groups and stuff like that, or group projects, things like that.
I see I shouldn't have bothered bringing food.
The Graduate Student Association office is in the AS building, the new building, Conrad Preby's AS building, or Student Center, on the second floor. When you go to the club organization offices. So I'm not sure exactly how it works with the other people in my organization, so I'm gonna bring up the idea to them, and possibly we can have access to that room for meetings or some quiet study time. What?
Good job. Do they have like those TVs in there?
There's
Not
no
that it matters.
TVs. Pretty much our office just has desks that have lights and outlets, so if you want to charge a phone or, you know.
I was like
study
thinking of like the
equipment.
library when we needed
Yeah.
to do like group presentations.
The ones
For like the
library,
HDMI
yeah.
outlets and stuff like
PowerPoints
that.
or
Yeah.
videos showing on us.
Yeah, we're not that sophisticated, but we are open to donations.
Sorry, no, I'm just wondering, because that's cool if so, because then you don't have to go to the library and reserve that
Right.
stuff
Right.
in person and then have to wait.
Right, so if anyone
I was
has an
just
extra
wondering.
big screen TV lying around, we're open to donations.
The other alternative for a place like that is the breakout room at the office. So,
Do those have, do they have TVs?
no, they don't have TVs in them either. But those are the two options, and once we get more information from Kamar about how to go about making that request for that room, I'll send it.
Because I think the breakout room, that's managed by Lisa.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the GSA.
I think all those rooms are not, those 3 or 4 rooms are managed by Lisa.
Are you talking about the RCSA room or the 2 breakout rooms?
The breakout rooms.
Because you
We have
you
one
have that
specifically.
space, that
Right, right.
RCSA space.
I guess we could use
Right.
that space too.
Definitely.
That's, so we have plenty of options as far as. The
Yeah.
one thing that wasn't on the agenda that I forgot to mention to you, was Chuck has mentioned that in the past, they had a peer mentoring program, the RCSA had a peer mentoring program, and I wanted to get feedback from you guys if that's something you guys would be interested in.
Especially like
Like
the
for the
first
first
years.
years.
Yes.
I think Jeannie kind of mentioned that that might be something that you guys were interested in, whereas like we weren't sure, so we figured the first years probably have a little more.
Sean, did they have that when you came in? That was one of
Well, what are some things that they would help with?
Well,
Or what?
Like
Oh,
basically,
go
there would be a list of like second-year students especially who would be interested in being a mentor. And then I think like the RCSA president would basically assign new students to a mentor. And then the mentor would be available to talk about classes or just what it's like to be a graduate student here, just somebody to check in with. So it was really, it was a pretty neat thing when it was in place. I think it was a pretty good support for first-year students. It made them feel like a little less overwhelmed with everything.
Yeah,
You're
I think
starting the
that would be great.
LPCC and you don't know what you need to do. I mean, we don't either, but we can help you. We can be lost together.
So is that something you guys would be interested in?
Yeah. Yeah, I think because a lot of us, I'll only speak for myself, haven't been in school for a really long time. So getting back into it and really like understanding what it is to be in grad school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Because I had a question too. I really don't remember what the group does. So do you mind kind of going over what you guys do? And I know, if you guys don't mind.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
that's what we're here for.
Okay.
Mission statement.
Or the mission statement?
That's the thing is, RCSA kind of, how long have we been around? Just a few years, right, on
I
campus?
think like since 2008.
Yeah,
But on
so-
campus was
On
last year.
campus.
Yeah, so we're a
Since it's on
fairly
campus
new
last year.
organization, and that's why we want to get a lot of feedback from you guys as far as like where to take this organization. Like, we're thinking a lot about having workshops, but as far as like topics and things, right now is a good time for members as well as like the officers. We're all pretty much here in the program together is to kind of get ideas on where you would like things that you feel would be great. Like we have the job development and workshop coming up. So if there's anything that you feel like you kind of want more like us to go deeper into, or if you feel like there's times throughout the semester where you feel like specifically you want to reach out and have a mixer and get together for a study group or get together for CRT examination, like that's what we're doing right now is trying to figure out where we're going to try to take the RCSA as far as it being a student-run organization. So as far as feedback goes, this semester a lot of things are really open to members and outside members because we're trying to garner a lot of just kind of foot space and momentum. But we're thinking of once we do get enough members that are consistently coming, of closing off a lot of the things like the seminars and workshops so that you guys understand exactly where your dues are going towards, and like as a member what you're getting opposed to the general student body. So that's why we really wanted to have this potluck right now to kind of get it started, because we want to know, get some feedback from you guys as far as like what you feel like you're already kind of needing, and where you feel like you want to go towards the end of the school year. So
Yeah, that's basically what, so in a nutshell, we need feedback from you guys. We want this organization to be as much as possible what you guys want it to be. There was one other thing which I forgot, so I guess it doesn't matter. I forgot something else I was gonna say.
Juanita's downstairs, she said she needs some help with
Oh, the
getting
doors
some
shut.
stuff up, so I'm gonna help her out.
So it seems like there is an interest in doing the peer mentoring, so I think it's
Yeah.
a matter of how to
How
do
to
it.
go about doing it. So, on that note, if you guys have any ideas how you want the peer mentoring program to look, please email us.
and if
I
you
will-
guys don't give a specific RCSA email.
Yeah, there is a specific RCSA email. What is it? I forget what it is.
It's aztecarcsa@gmail.com.
So, yeah, we will be checking that email. That's the official email for the RCSA. So
And it
we will-
goes to all of us.
For the 5 of us.
If you guys have any feedback, if you can't think of anything, or, it doesn't come to your mind right now, but in the meantime, you guys have some feedback or ideas of what you guys want to see next as far as seminars go, just send it to that email address and we'll all be monitoring it.
And there's Facebook.
Yeah.
Chuck, how accessible is Stephen Hinkle?
Yeah, he's around. He still lives here, so. Yeah,
Sean and Kumar and I had a class with Chuck, and this young man named Stephen Hinkle gave a presentation on transition from childhood to adulthood as a person living with autism, and showing the trials and tribulations he's gone through, just basically all the challenges he's encountered his whole life and how he's become so successful with, utilizing the right support and trying to continuously get on that path to independence. He was pretty captivating. I think
He's
he gets a
very
lot of
good, yeah.
people.
Yeah.
It could be a
He has
personal-
well-developed content.
Incredible.
Stephen Hinkle.
So we- Is
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 that
that
great
where you were
speaker.
thinking of going with?
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
student success?
He'd probably be
Not
happy to
him.
do that.
I don't know. But he'd be good for like a 1 hour or 2
Or
hour.
presentation.
Uh-huh.
The other thing that I'd really like for you to get in, well, right now, there are, the cohort rep position for the first years is still open, so we would like for you guys to choose your own cohort rep.
So if you guys wanna send us an email as
Yeah.
far as you wanting to be a cohort rep, or if you guys wanna just kind of figure out how you wanna divvy it up, we won't micromanage that, but if you guys want help from us, then we
Yeah.
can, but we're gonna need a point of contact for things like meetings and seminars, just to make sure all the first years are getting the information, because all of us are pretty much in the same classes, so we're not
Right.
necessarily gonna see you throughout the semester all the time.
So I have
So-
a question about that. Is that the entire first year class is going to be contributing to that? Okay, because not everybody's here.
Yeah.
So
Right, I'll be sending out an email about that.
I
So the
have
basic.
one input about an idea as far as the peer mentoring thing, or even just like kind of a workshop that maybe second and third year students could help out with for the first year students. And the schedule that Lisa always sends out about these are the classes that you should take
Right.
in your first year.
Mhm.
And so I think that some of us who have already taken those classes in our second and third year, we could put on like a little workshop about those classes and our memories and experience of doing those assignments, and kind of give them a preview. Here's what this assignment is, here's what to expect, things like that.
Examples.
Then do a
Yeah.
workshop on APA style. Can I still have trouble with it?
I don't want to teach
You are
that.
not the only one.
So with regards to
I
the
know.
cohort rep, that person is actually our point of contact for the organization. So basically, announcements would be going to them, to the person to disseminate throughout the cohort. And that person will also be the person that will be collecting dues for the first years, so like membership drives and stuff like that. So mainly those two things are what the cohort rep is, what the
Position.
the position
Is responsible for.
right, so,
So, I mean, I
Think
feel like
about
you
it.
guys have already had some classes with each other, you may know of people who are interested in it, or if you're interested, feel free to reach out to us and let us know.
yeah. And the sooner we get that name, better, because then we can start funneling information to you guys.
Did you wanna talk about your student success too?
Oh, yeah, sure. So for those of you who don't know, there's this program that's available at SDSU that we're all actually paying for right now, called the Student Success Fee. And what they've done is that little amount of money that we're each dumping in, they've created a budget that will fund certain ideas, proposals for like projects, workshops, contests, and that's about the extent to what I know it can be applied to, but there might be other ideas as well. And last year I worked with a couple students. Kamar really helped me out with that, and Marge Olney, who is some of your first year students have just gotten to meet her. She's really helpful, and what she did was she gave me this kind of like idea of, I had the idea that I wanted to do something related to employment and people with disabilities and get some sort of speaker out, and she recommended that we just get in contact with the lead author of one of the textbooks she uses for her job placement and job development class. And surprisingly, the speaker was really open to it and was happy to come out, and what he did was provided a one-day, like 6-hour workshop on customized employment, which is going to be a new trend, kind of an innovative way to look at job development now, coming up in the future. And it was really good for people to get that kind of, I guess, insider, first-hand knowledge about this kind of information. And it was pretty successful. I think around over 100 people showed up from all over the state of California, professionals, students, alumni of the program. So it was really a great opportunity for people to network, learn about something new. and see what the future is going to hold regarding that topic. But I wanted to know, like this year, and I kind of did it like all on my own last year, and I was wondering if anybody wanted to help and maybe even had a new idea or specific areas within rehabilitation counseling that they would like to focus on, maybe hot topics that are out right now, specific population groups, or applying it to the full range of people with disabilities. And one of the things that Karen Sachs advised that we do is make this kind of event open for undergraduates this year. I mean, I had it open for everyone last year, but we need to like specifically state that it's open to the whole university, undergrads and everything. And so that's just something to consider. And I think almost anybody can benefit from these topics anyways, as it raises awareness of diversity in education and employment and in our community. So I don't know if anyone has any ideas offhand, any specific things, but the proposal is going to be due September 14th, and if I don't hear back from anyone, I'm probably going to go with the same idea that I used last year. It was pretty successful. A lot of people have been asking about it again.
Same presenter?
The same presenter, yeah. Possibly, and because I'm just, I don't know, my creativity is running low. So if I always think like, you know, if there's more people involved, we might be able to generate better ideas. And
what was the deadline for that again?
September 14th.
So the submission for the entire proposal is due on September 14th?
Yes, and I can like help write that up. I can teach someone how to write that up. Marge has offered to help again, so that's really helpful. She was like really instrumental with the language she uses and that, and helping me revise that stuff.
Could we use the same template?
Yeah, and I can email the template to anyone who's interested, like the exact proposal that I used last year, how I broke up the budget, the idea of who it was going to benefit, the background of the topic that we wanted to focus on.
Hey, Nick, quick question for you. When you talk about proposal and the fees and all that, what's like the budget? Like what would be like considered outrageous, or what would be like?
I saw projects from the engineering program that were funded for $50,000. This event was, we got $3,200, okay. And that $500 went to the room, and the rest went to the speaker.
Okay. Okay.
So most of them's the honorarium.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you could break it up into like travel expenses, whatever else you want to try and include to accommodate them, or you could just do it in like a lump, like kind of like a one-time lump sum. Is that what it's called? Kind of fee. And that's what we did. It was so much easier just to do a straight up honorarium, and yep. That's what he would rather have too.
Cool. Because I was thinking it'd be good if we developed like a list of guest speakers who we'd want to have come to speak, including, you know, also people who are not only people who work in the rehabilitation industry, but also like Mr. Hinkle, or people who have diagnosed disabilities that have found really ingenious ways of, you know, overcoming those. I'm totally open to that too, and I would agree 100%. Because there's other people that offer expertise as well.
Yeah. So Kamar's already done some like footwork as far as like who he would be interested in like having come and speak, and I know we kind of all have ideas, but we don't really want to just take it and run with it. There's obviously more than just the 5 of us here, so we want to make sure you guys are, you know, you're paying your dues. You want to make sure that you are also getting topics that you guys feel like are relevant to you, and things that you feel like you can use once you graduate from the program, because that's kind of the point of the organization anyway, right?
And you guys like don't all have to jump on board or anything. I mean, it's not a big deal. But if you want to learn, we're happy to show you, and it's a good resume builder and good experience.
So would we, how would we get together with you to do that?
I guess just email me or text me, and if you guys don't have my email, I can tell you right now what it is if you want to write it down. It's nickwrightc2c@gmail.com, and that's WRIGHT. But also, I mean, I don't know how much time we have today really, but if we should do it maybe like sometime next week, if that works better for people. I am free next Friday as well.
Because the deadline's coming up in 10 days pretty much.
And I'm confident we can get it done too. No problem.
question, Nick. Are you thinking about one speaker or a panel?
That, I'm open to it.
A panel would be great.
I think so
mean,
too.
The guy was excellent, but it was like, okay, we need other people speaking. It's kind of,
In 6 hours.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
long
the,
time.
And he knew it. We all knew it.
I could talk to Bill Lacey about it,
And I think he's,
about job development.
yeah, he's really captivating because he's a recent graduate of the program. I think Sean knows him a little better, but he's good at what he does. And you have ideas too, like people in mind? Do you want to meet up next Friday? Really like just powwow this out for like an hour or something? When are you guys free?
Friday's a bad day for me.
Well, you
It's
can
bad,
probably,
eh?
we can discuss outside the meeting.
Yeah.
You know,
How
Nick,
about
one
that?
thing I think I would consider is maybe like a different topic area. I
Yeah.
think especially like a different speaker, because
Mhm.
I would guess when they look at the proposals, they may look at, you know, if what you presented, you know, last year,
Right.
may not want to fund that again.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe think about like, you know, some real topical issues in the field of disability that maybe you would get people in rehab counseling, but also kind of the general public interest.
Right.
So like maybe something related to military PTSD and traumatic brain injury. You know, another possible one would be, you know, all the football players having all, you know, all these different forms of brain injury, and then there's a guy at
Concussion, trauma.
Boston University. They look at CTE, which is was a chronic traumatic. I can never say the E word.
It's up a little.
Yeah.
In some ways.
But he would be, you know, because Darren, you're talking about like the funds. You can bring in some real major people with this program.
There is no cap to the amount of money that they can give us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he the guy that they're doing that movie on, that Will Smith is playing?
I don't know
Is
if
it
he's
the same
playing
guy?
him, but it's that same topic area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What movie? I don't have cable.
It's a Will Smith movie, and it's one of the doctors that like found out that repetitive hitting causes like severe trauma.
Permanent concussive syndrome?
Yeah, something to those effects.
Nick, can you repeat your email?
Yeah, it's Nick Wright, NICKWRIGHT C2C @gmail.com.
But last year was a fantastic event. It was a really big accomplishment to do that. To
And you
write
were
it,
only
to
in
get the
first
guy to
year.
come out.
Oh, thank you. It was, you know, and there were some other people that were really helpful too, and like I gotta thank Kamar for that flyer, especially because I don't.
It's a lot of design.
Kamar is, and that just takes a lot of time and effort,
Designing flyers.
putting everything together, and I just appreciate that help that you provided.
Do you want to talk about the job placement with Denise? I mean, the job development?
Yeah. So for the last 7 years, we've had Denise Bissonette come out and do trainings. She does annual trainings, and when you take job placement, this is one of the persons who has like one of the books assigned for the class. So she's very well known in the area of job development, and she always makes a point of saying it's not job placement, it's job development. So I think about people that like if you're working with somebody with autism, or if you have the standard position opening, they're probably not going to be competitive for a lot of those kinds of jobs. But the idea is to really think creatively around, you know, what are the talents of this person that are really being unused, unidentified, and really trying to match that to the needs of an employer. And you know, she's very creative as far as how to do this. And she's a very dynamic speaker. I mean, she's really incredible to listen to. It's a 2-day training, we have a number of different people coming in. A lot of DOR people. We have some Cal Promise people. We have you know, some of the students in the distance program are going to be attending this. So it's $175 for both days, and you know, it's a pretty steep price, but it's around. It's 9 to 4 every day for 2 days. It's in Old Town, so if you're able to make it to that, you know, it's a great event.
Anyone have any other ideas or questions?
Serena, can I mention like one thing? I'm going to have a meeting coming up.
Oh, brown bag?
Well, I'll mention that. I forgot. So there's a speaker named and Dwayne. Actually, If I can introduce you, this is
Ooh, look at that.
Wayne Bradford, alumnus of the program, doing great things in Northern California. Do you want to say a little bit about yourself, Dwayne? And then I'm going to ask you to talk about Chris Longoria.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is Dwayne Bradford. I'm a graduate of the class of 2012. And currently I am the team manager for a branch office in the San Jose District, Gilroy branch office. And it just so happens that Chris Longoria is a legend in the field of rehab counseling dealing with migrant seasonal workers. He has 38 years in the DOR. He has written federal grants for support for migrant farm workers. He has been recognized by national organizations for his dedication to the farm workers with disabilities, seasonal farm workers. And when he was before he completed his undergraduate degree in San Jose State, as a part of his life, he was a migrant field worker. So not only does he know the concept of what it is to be a person who is marginalized in the sense of theory, he has been that person. And he has dedicated his life, his career to this type of work. He has marched with Cesar Chavez. He has been an organizer for the United Farm Workers in his life. As a matter of fact, he was invited and participated in a birthday party for Cesar Chavez's sister, who turned, I think, 90 or 91 just last month. He was one of a few hundred that were personally invited by her because of his connection to United Farm Workers. Chris and I have a great number of conversations about disability, marginalization, and various groups that include not only disability, but culture and ethnicity, and that we've talked about that. I myself have a background. At one time in my life, I was a student in the Black Power movement in the early 70s. And I have been a social activist. I have about a 30-year background in drug and alcohol counseling. And so when I came to this program, I felt it would be a great match with the knowledge and experience that I already had. And so there are a lot of possibilities, even with the Department of Rehabilitation, but you have to be willing to take risks, and a lot of people get comfortable and don't want to take the risk. I was offered the job as a QRP qualified rehab counselor my senior year in the San Jose District, my last semester, and I had the position upon graduation. However, I was willing to move out of San Diego and take a risk. Because I will tell you right now, the DOR, the majority of the jobs you're going to find, you got to be willing to move. If you're not willing to move, you're not going to find them if you want to work with the Department of Rehabilitation. You got to take that risk. I can honestly say that it's been a different experience for me because my branch office is in a small town, and many of the people who come to our branch office for services come from a rural area. It's not urban. You got to go into San Jose to get the urban experience. We have the small town rural experience. And we have people who are coming to us looking for support, and we have to be extremely creative when it comes to helping them prepare for employment and find employment, simply because we don't have access to a lot of urban employment where we are. And our consumers cannot necessarily get up to the main city, which is 30 minutes away driving on a regular basis. That's not counting days of traffic. So it's a different concept of preparing individuals for employment outside of the urban area. And for me, it's been a good experience to be outside of the urban area, to see how the rest of America with disability works when they're not in urban areas. Because we get kind of hung up on urban areas, and we think that applies to all other phases of other people who are living with disabilities and preparing for employment in the society, and it doesn't work that way. Like I said before, I am very proud to have graduated from this program. I couldn't think of a better program for anybody to go through, and I guarantee you, with the other rehab programs that we have at universities in this state, ours stands out. And so I can only say that you're in one of the best programs you could ever be in. Make it work, concentrate on what you're doing, and be willing to take the risk to go somewhere else outside of your comfort zone to become the counselor that you need to become in order to support and provide individuals with support in counseling. Now, I want to add one last thing. This is not about case management as far as I'm concerned. It's about counseling. And if you don't know how to have empathy, if you don't know how to communicate with people, if you don't know how to work with people, then you need to go do something else. Because this is not a piece of cake. You have some consumers that will work great with you. You will have others that will cause you nothing but chronic headaches. And you still have to work with all of them all of the time. And some of them will even pull you on the carpet with your supervisors. But the goal is to help who you can, and keep going, and keep believing in the process of what you do for the benefit of those consumers. So when they walk away from you, they can tell you, thanks, I don't need you anymore, it's been great, goodbye. Our goal is to work our way out of the job. So, thank you.
Thanks, Ray. We're proud to have you as alumnus of the program, so thanks so much. And as Dwayne said, Chris is a very distinguished speaker, professional in the field, and probably one of the few, if not the only person that I know of that's really focused his work on serving the needs of people that are migrant and seasonal farm workers. So he's going to be coming to my class, the 645B Career Development class. So we're going to open it up to anyone who wants to be there. And it's going to be Tuesday, November 17th from 7 to 9:40. And it's going to be in this room. So right now I've got a list, because we have a limited room in here. We've got 12 students in the class, so I can take like another 25 people for the presentation. And right now we've got around 8 people that are signed up. So, if you have the time, I would really encourage you to come out to listen to his talk. And he came to my summer class, and Cherry, you were in that class. And he's just amazing to listen to, and such a humble guy too. On top of it, he's a great person. So, see if he can make it.
Will you be having him consistently in your classes?
Yes, absolutely. As long as he's willing to speak in my class.
He's really nice. So is his wife.
Yeah, yeah. And he drove all the way down, like 6-hour drive to come to the class. So I was just really impressed with that. So that's one thing going on. On October 25th at 5 to 7 p.m. also in this room, we're going to have kind of like a presentation or a meeting about people that are interested in the cognitive disability specialization. I'm going to have a guest presenter, Dr. Paul Gilbert, who is a psychology professor. And he's an expert in a number of different areas of cognitive disabilities. But he's going to talk about the assessment and treatment of people with Alzheimer's. And he's done a lot of work in that area. So we're going to do that for like the first hour. The second hour will be, to talk about like what do we cover in the cognitive disability specialization, the classes, what do you do in terms of your clinical training in the program with that kind of focus, a portfolio, and so on. And so for those of you guys who are in the specialization, I'll be contacting you about this. I'm going to really want you to be there, if possible. And then also I think it's really helpful to talk to, students who are thinking about this as a focus area. So once I got to get some information from Dr. Gilbert, and once I have that, then I'm going to start sending it on to the listserv. But it'd be great to have some of you guys there.
It's going to be good too.
Chuck, I forgot to add, Chris is also a graduate of the class of 2013.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in the online program.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Gilbert will be here on what day?
Wednesday, October 25th. So I checked with Jeannie. I sent her an email last night. She's wondering like why I was asking her this. I was asking her what days do you have online lectures or classes for foundations? Because Wednesday was turning out to be the best day, and then I looked at the course schedule and I said, oh no, you got foundations on Wednesday. So luckily, it's you're not going to be meeting that day. It's going to be online activities. Now you guys don't actually. You have to be at your computers at 5 o'clock.
No.
Or okay, you can like post things later on. All right, good. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be in this room from 5 to 7. And he's awesome. He's like he's a great presenter, nice guy, really accomplished in his field. Like you've had him in class, right?
That's how I met you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, that's all.
Anybody have anything else to add?
Cool. Do you want to talk a bit about the disability awareness month? Or
Well, no.
October is Disability Awareness Month. So there'll be activities around campus
Oh, Andrea,
associated with that.
do you want to talk on the board on that note?
Okay. I'm co-president of the Student Disability Advisory Board here on campus. We get together once a week. It starts this Friday at 11 a.m. and it's about an hour, give or take. And we discuss access issues on campus. We promote disability awareness all year, not just in October, but October is our big month. We also, we've had guest speakers come from Peace Corps to specifically discuss joining Peace Corps when you have a disability and different accommodations Peace Corps makes for people with disabilities and their placement of where you get placed and stuff. It's really interesting, and we're trying to do more, and we're just trying to get more people involved. So everybody's welcome. You don't have to have a disability. We like to have the perspective of people with non-disabilities as well as disabilities, so Fridays at 11, you'll be meeting me.
And me, I'm the co-chairman.
So yeah, because I try to emphasize that we need your input, especially because I'm one of the board also, but it's especially about all the programming, all of the undergrads on campus, and all the other students who are on campus. So we meet here being professionals in the field, but like our actual field is with the Student Disability Board. So whatever we do here, we need to make sure that it reaches out on campus every single time, because it's not just about the professionals.
And then I'm the face behind Disability Services Programming. My name is Rachel. I do all of the programming awareness and the board with Andrea. And so I am finalizing my calendar. I already have the poster basically done. I just got to confirm it with my boss and the graphic designer. But throughout the month of October, we're not calling it Disability Awareness Month. We have decided to go with Diversability Awareness. In the past, we did Disability Awareness, but the response we were getting was not as inclusive as we would like. So we created Diversability to include everybody, especially veterans, since a lot of veterans don't identify with having a disability. And then athletes and whatnot, so it kind of makes it a more inclusive topic. Obviously, it's going to be focused on disability awareness, but we wanted to change the name and the stigma on campus behind it. So we're kind of rolling that out this year as our first time. So some of the events we'll be having is an information fair at the end of October. We're having Richard Pimentel. He helped basically establish the ADA and whatnot, and so he'll be coming to speak and presenting along with showing the movie, which is based upon his life, The Music Within, and that's going to be on, oh man, I have a migraine right now, so I can't really think right now, but I'm going to post the information and send it to you guys, so you guys are aware of all of the events that are happening on campus for disability awareness, and so yeah.
If anyone wants to watch that movie and can't make it to the screening, I have a copy of the movie, so we're just putting it out there.
you know him too. Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a really talented speaker.
Are you guys hungry? All right, let's eat.
All right.
Thanks for attending.
Yeah, let us know.